there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me, and he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes. Call
him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. To begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group. He listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you are invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things, and you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in the...
2 days ago, the president of Zambia, Frederick Chiluba, phoned me. Now, he is far younger than me. I think he's in his 60s. And in meetings, he always speaks to me with great respect. And sometimes when we don't agree, and he says, now look, I'm not convinced, Mr. President, of what you're saying. But in our custom, we never challenge an old man. But he projected a new image 2 days ago when he phoned me. He did not make a request to me. He gave me an instruction. And he said, Madiba, I want you to support President Clinton. He was not speaking for himself. He was not speaking for himself. And he said so. He said, I'm speaking for the continent of Africa. When he addressed our parliament, he almost brought down the walls of that building. When he said, we in the United States have been asking a wrong question. We have been saying, what can we do for Africa? That was a wrong question. The right question was, what can we do with Africa?
Then they're saying, no, we are not allowing HH and UPND to amend the constitution. The question is why? Because there are lacunas in there. Is it the first government to amend the constitution? No. Who else amended the constitution? In this manner, UNIP government. UNIP government. Bamuzungu is here. Bakurumpi. He was there. Institutional memory. UNIP amended the constitution. The argument is that why you amend the constitution now? So when is the right time? What does the constitution say? It's silent. UNIP amended the constitution in 1991. Limbina Mulava. In the election year. 1991, in the election year. People celebrated. 1996, MMD under President Chiluba, Aka Red in Aka Black. May his soul rest in peace. Right? Yes, that man did a lot of things to turn the country from a wrong direction, in my view. I don't want to debate this. May his soul rest in peace. We don't appreciate a lot of things he did to move us downhill into a positive trajectory. 1996, the MMD and the FDJ amended the constitution in the election year. There was no problem, no street fights. Same organizations didn't go in the streets. By Kalati Tondolo, and the constitution is being amended. No street fights. 2016, under PF, the constitution was amended. Right? Election year. In January, the election was in August. They amended the constitution. No one went in the streets. We were aggrieved as UPND. And I told my members, no one goes in the streets. Let's vote in parliament. We voted and lost in parliament. I never allowed our members to go in the streets. UPND, this man they don't like, for whatever reason. Right? You know, this level of hatred is shocking. Right? You can see that there's venom here. You can even touch it. There's venom here. We go to amend the constitution using the same law, using the same constitution, which was applied, clauses which were used before. It says no. We don't want. The timing is wrong. But what about those other timings when it was amended? What was right? Why didn't you go in the streets? Ask yourselves a question. So you want to start conflict over nothing. Fellow citizens, let us act godly. After all, we are a Christian nation. Let us act in a godly manner. Let us not overexpose our hatred of others for crimes some of us did not commit. I know. I've come a long way myself. I know the feelings of a certain section of the people. I didn't choose where to be born. Neither did you. None of us should serve a sentence for a crime they did not commit. In 2021, one priest issued a statement. Chawamanga twachita election, kuchila kuti abawambita tulefaya bakateke. Encouraging the government then to rig the election so that UPND and this president does not come into office. It's there. And this thing starts all over again. This is not fair. This is not correct. Evidential information is there. Chiriabushiko. Upato. Fish. It's a lot of work we can achieve together. A lot of value we can achieve together. One Zambia. One nation. One nation. One people. This is the elephant in the room. We will not allow
this president kind. And now I'm saying to say it's easy, it's good to follow a Freemason who is giving people free education. It's good to follow a Satanist who is feeding school-going children into schools than having a Christian. Okay? Even somebody who is Christian, he says Satana watu apeleka free education. Satana watu akambo menya watu. Imemkamba ati izangalako. Izangalako ni chati. Tiandika kumane background hapa yamba battle, we are ready for you, of which you know. Who is giving people free education? It's good to follow a Satanist who is feeding school-going children into schools than having a Christian. Okay? Imamkamba ni mwa Kristo, he says Satana watu apeleka free education. Satana watu akambo menya watu. Imamkamba ati Zangharapo. Zangharapo ni chani.
Go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me. And he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. To begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group. He listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you are
Very
invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things. And you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. Yeah. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in it.
Sunday, 17th May 2026. Today we remember Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, the emeritus bishop, Archbishop of Lusaka. He passed away on Friday, 15th May 2026. He's such an advocate of good governance. He was such a strong voice in this nation. If there's any time we needed a voice like that of Archbishop, it is now. He's gone, and today we dedicate this program to him. We were very privileged. Under my previous podcast called the Conversation Podcast, he spared over 1 hour, 30 minutes. He told his life, from the period he was born in Mbala, up to the time he entered into priesthood, up to the time he served, elevated as Bishop of Mpika, and later as Archbishop of Lusaka. That podcast, you can watch it. I can provide the link, but I've been providing a link on my page. It's literally the life of Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. I'll read briefly about his life. Then I'm going to go to a piece that was written by Sishua the other day, directing it to President Hakainde Hichilema, responding to President Hakainde Hichilema's good words over Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu to act like our editorial for today. After that, we'll go to the threats that President Hakainde Hichilema has put, for our electoral process, where we may not have democratic, credible, transparent, free and fair elections, where they're trying to bar some political parties and some political leaders. That also will be a constant subject in everything we are doing. So we'll do it in that fashion. I will read just briefly the life of Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. The details are stored from the horse's mouth himself. I'm among the few. I was scanning the internet. I think he's never given such a detailed biography of himself other than what he did on my podcast, the Conversation Podcast. I'll share the link with you. And then I'll read Sishua's response to President Hakainde Hichilema, because Sishua is saying, like the president did on Edith Nawakwi, these very strong critics, he wants to hijack the process and purports to use them as podiums for unity. Remember, the reasons we have the standoff with Edgar Lungu's funeral is that he wants to officiate the funeral because he purports that because he states that as head of state, he has to attend a state funeral. The similar honor might go to Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. Remember, he was a very strong critic of President Edgar Lungu, and we're glad that we have the last images we have is the three of them, Archbishop Alik Banda, Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, and Edgar Lungu sitting down for a cup of tea. I thought that was very good. So the UPND adopted Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. He was such a strong voice. And then they turned around when he began to put the same thoughts, the same principles, driven by the Catholic social teachings. They now thought, no, you should be a politician, go to the politics. No, now you are PF, now you are supporting Lungu. As usual, they failed to understand the role of the church in our democratic space. So I think that's how we'll proceed. Let me just look at a brief of Archbishop, and then I read the one by Sishua's critics, and then we'll open phone lines after I've tackled the issue of ECZ.
The ruling of this go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me, and he said, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. I said, to begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group. He listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you are invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things, and you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to...
We are remembering Archbishop Telesphore George Mpundu. He was born on 21st May 1947, and he died 6 days before his birthday. He was supposed to turn 79 on 21st May 2026. So 6 days before his 79th birthday, we lost him. He was the coadjutor and Archbishop of Lusaka, emeritus, remember, I think means retired. This is his last post as Archdiocese of Lusaka. He was appointed on 1st October 2004 as co-adjutor Archbishop. He was installed in 2006 as bishop. His predecessor for Lusaka, remember, was Medado Joseph Mazombwe, and has been succeeded by Archbishop Alik Banda. He also served in Mbala as Bishop of Mbala, and he was ordinated as a priest on 17th December 1972, and his consecration was witnessed in 1987 as bishop by Bishop Adolf Fustenberg, by Bishop Elas White Mtale. You remember Archbishop Elas White Mtale was Archbishop of Kasama Archdiocese, and by Archbishop Adrian Mungandu. He was born Telesphore George Mpundu, 21st May 1947, at Kopeka in Mpulungu district in northern Rhodesia. He died at the age of 78. He was supposed to turn 79 on 21st May 2026. He joined priesthood, like I stated, on 17th December 1972, and he served as a priest in Mbala up to 1987. You know, Pope John Paul II appointed him as Bishop of Mbala on 7th March 1987, and he was among the youngest bishops at the time when he was appointed, and was installed on 21st June 1987. He was consecrated as bishop by Bishop, like I said, Adolf Fustenberg, and witnessed by Bishop Emeritus of Mbala, assisted by Archbishop Elas White Mtale, Archbishop of Kasama, and Archbishop Adrian Mungandu, Archbishop of Lusaka. I think this is what we can refer to Archbishop, the few words around him. You know, I'll be inviting you, if you've had any interaction with Archbishop Telesphore George Mpundu. He was a vocal critic against the government of President Kaunda, against the government of Frederick Chiluba, against the government of Michael Sata, against the government of Edgar Lungu, against the government of Hakainde Hichilema. He spared no one. Why? Because the Catholic is driven by the Catholic social teachings, which promote upholding and promoting values of justice, humanity, values of respect for human beings, and respect to rule our people in a just manner, because these are God's people.
Go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders of the UPND came and challenged me, and he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever, election. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Nice.
So you are invited
nice.
to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things, and you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you know, you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. Yeah. No, not at all. Sishua
has responded to President Hakainde Hichilema, who wrote some form of tribute or eulogy for Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, learning of the demise of the late president. Dr. Sishua is an academic, good governance and political commentator on issues, the geopolitical analyst, and is currently here in the United States at Harvard University. He has urged the president that, Mr. President, keep your hypocrisy away. He says, I pray you will not be demanding to officiate at a funeral now, drawing on your recent experience of giving sermons in Catholic churches and of literally insisting to attend funerals of individuals whom you had little regard while they lived. He says you can lie to yourself and to your zealot supporters, but you will never deceive those of us who are familiar with your breathtaking hypocrisy. Sishua says, hello, Mr. Ichilema. You probably must be pleased to have another prominent critic of your poor leadership gone. You are very fortunate, sir. Look at the death that keeps taking prominent critics away. Edith Nawakwi, Edgar Lungu, and now the retired Archbishop of Lusaka, Telesphore Mpundu. I pray that you not be demanding to officiate at the funeral now, drawing on your recent experience of giving sermons in Catholic churches and of insisting to attend funerals of individuals whom you had little regard for a while when they lived. Even the picture you used to accompany, even the picture you have used to accompany your post tells a story, because your recent relationship with Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu had turned sour, as it is with many of those who supported you in opposition, but now regret it owing to your dreadful performance in office. You are to go all the way back to 2021 to find a suitable picture that was taken after the Mass that the retired Archbishop honored and conducted for you at State House soon after your election. What followed next is very well known. Archbishop Mpundu, as he did to your predecessors whenever they strayed from the course of good governance, regularly criticized your leadership and actions. In response, you and your supporters, as you've repeatedly done to the Catholic Church and to other well-meaning critics, you denounced the man of God. Today that he has died, you want to pretend that you are sorrowful? Please cut us some slack, Mr. Ichilema. You should have a sense of shame, sir. You can lie to yourself and to your zealot supporters, but you will never deceive some of those of us who are familiar with your breathtaking hypocrisy. The truth must be stated that Archbishop Mpundu, who contributed greatly to your election, died very disappointed at what you have become in office. The tragedy of your presidency. In one of his final public interviews, I've attached it to this post. I think he is referring to my podcast with Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. Archbishop Mpundu correctly branded you as a master of corruption, a dictator who doesn't listen to anyone, and a failure who should not be allowed to remain in office for more than one term. Those were said at my podcast when I held and hosted Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. I can now tell you that the Archbishop was extremely sad that you are now trying to send civil rights activist Brebna Changala, another person who helped you ascend to public office, to prison on transparently silly charge of sedition using Principal Resident Magistrate Davis Chivuili. this issue really disturbed him. Mpundu died with his extremely high regard for Changala, whom he affectionately called Saint Brebna. Even on my forum there, Saint Brebna Changala was seated there, and you saw Archbishop looking to Brebna, and he said, Saint Brebna there. He kept on referring, Awakala Manga Walelanda, like they are looking for confirmation or affirmation. So although you were speaking to me, he kept on looking at Brebna Changala. You realize that these two were very close, not just combatants in the struggle to, lift our country, but that they were personal friends, just not in the struggle, but personal friends. And he kept on referring to Brebna as Saint Brebna, the very one that Hichilema is determined to send to prison. I'll finish the other part by Sishua, but this is his response to President Hakainde Hichilema. When I come back, let's look at the ECZ, so that when we open the phone lines, we'll have two topics. You can remember Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. Then we can look at the current crisis, the present danger, where President Hakainde Hichilema is determined to bar, especially candidates from the PF. He doesn't want the PF on the ballot. He has achieved that. And now he wants to stop any other candidates coming from the PF. We discuss what is happening at the Electoral Commission of Zambia, so that by the time we are opening the phone lines on top of the hour, you'll be able to discuss either the electoral process or the demise of the late Archbishop of Lusaka, Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu.
Two days ago, the president of Zambia, Frederick Chiluba, phoned me. Now, he is far younger than me. I think he's in his 60s. And in meetings, he always speaks to me with great respect. And sometimes when we don't agree, and he says, now look, I'm not convinced, Mr. President, of what you're saying. But in our custom, we never challenge an old man. But he projected a new image 2 days ago when he phoned me. He did not make a request to me. He gave me an instruction. And he said, Madiba, I want you to support President Clinton. He was not speaking for himself. He was not speaking for himself. And he said so. He said, I'm speaking for the continent of Africa. When he addressed our parliament, he almost brought down the walls of that building. When he said, we in the United States have been asking a wrong question. We have been saying, what can we do for Africa? That was a wrong question. The right question was, what can we do with Africa?
Varia who wanted to disturb us in Chongola, yesterday I hear they are planning to disturb the polling station Ninshi Kulepo Barefwaya. When we won, I told you not to revenge, not to beat anybody. Bafulevale chindika. Bale chindika. Mule umpwaka. Wapile bale stationi. We protected them because you would have nailed them, eh? You could have nailed them. I protected them. They must not extend their lucky.
Let's go over the issues happening at the ECZ. ECZ has issued various communications in the recent past. I told you that especially the technical people running political parties, you must be very alert of what's happening. The other week, ECZ told us after delimitation of process, we're going to have 16,400 polling stations from 12,152 polling stations. But ECZ, Brown Kasaro, Chief Electoral Officer, in his communication dated 15th May 2026, has released this information. He says the 2026 elections will have an increase from 12,152 polling stations to 13,529 polling stations. He says this doesn't mean that the Commission has created new voting centers through delimitation. The number of voting centers has remained the same of about 9,000, and what has increased is just the number of polling stations or voting rooms within the existing centers to accommodate the increased number of registered voters that has risen to 8 million. You need to pay attention there. There was 12,152 polling stations. ECZ told us that there were now 16,400 polling stations. But in the official communication issued on Friday, they said, no. It's actually just 13,529. We have to watch there that no one is creating ghost voting centers where only, like we saw in Chawama, only UPND were aware about that voting center in Chawama. The matter that they've taken Miles Sampa to court, that matter was very clear. The Miles Sampa merely responded to the concerns by voters in Chawama who said, polling station here for Makwisa tatwa bala imonapo imwabika parilai police. And it was a very big issue. They proceeded to defend themselves, and this is what you are going to see. Because President Hakainde Hichilema is determined to steal this election. He wants you to hold the ECZ in very high esteem. So all of us that are exposing ECZ will be condemned, will be called alarmists, will be called propagandists. They will try, they want that ECZ, whose structure is entirely from one region, both at management and at board commission, just from one region. They want that to be respected. They don't want you to raise any questions. They've even taken a retired, a brigadier general as vice chair of ECZ. All those things you are not seeing. Why would they take such a very strong, respected personality from the army to be vice chair? Why would they do that? You need to question everything, but that's what they don't want. So they will criminalize everyone that is asking these questions. When you say Mwangala Zalomis is UPND, you say McDonald Pence is UPND, they will criminalize that. They want to show that the ECZ is an impartial body, when in fact it has become a tool to deliver a second term for President Hakainde Hichilema. It has become a tool to make possible that the election should be smooth for President Hakainde Hichilema, and literally hell for the opposition. They are going to ban and bar strong candidates from the opposition. And that's why they would want you to be silent. They don't want you. So you are going to see Wakandile wala watumama echo chambers. Anyone who talks about ECZ will be saying, no, protect ECZ. Remember what they do about the judiciary. The judiciary is sold. It has become a tool for hire. But they will keep on saying, respect the judiciary. No. You can't attack the judiciary. Come on. A judiciary that has sold out under Mumba Malila should attract respect. It should attract reprimand. It should attract exposés. It should not attract respect. until the judiciary corrects its ways. Similarly, if we are suspicious of Brown Kasarwa TCZ, we are worried, we are asking, why have you brought this strong man as vice chair of ECZ to Mangala Zalomes? Why have you amended the laws, Bill 7, Electoral Process Bill, and why are you reinforcing all of a sudden the registrar of societies to bar political candidates? We need to question that. They, you and I, they don't want us to question that. They want you to be silent. Remember what we say about a thief? When a thief walks into your house, one of the things they demand is silence. Don't raise alarm. We will rape your daughter or we will kill you. That's what a thief says. The thief wants you to follow everything the thief says. If he says sit down, you have to sit down. So the new rules by the thief becomes the prevailing rules. Even if he has invaded your privacy, he has burgled into your home, he has broken the law, he wants you to obey his laws. This is what is happening to our country. And we have to speak and speak and speak. The thief is in the house. We have to raise alarm. The thief is in the house. It might be at a risk of yourself, but we need to speak out. They have issued a list of nominations for aspiring presidential candidates, and they'll be filing in beginning 8th May, just on Tuesday, which is Monday, because today is 17th, isn't it? So the program begins on 18th May for filing of nominations. Howard Kunda of Zambia on 18th May. These are the following that will present documents and file for nominations. Howard Kunda, Zambia Wake Up Party at 9 hours. Charles Chanda of the United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia UPPZ. Kelvin Fubebwalia, Zambia Must Prosper at 11 hours. Xavier Franklin Chungu, Liberal Democrats Party, LDP, at 12 hours. Given Mwenya Chansa, Movement for Economic Emancipation, at 13 hours. Professor Daniel Chivalepule, Christian Democratic Party, has been given for 15 hours. On Tuesday, they've given Harry Kalawa, Citizen First President, at 9 hours. He'll be the one that will start on Tuesday. Enoch Roosevelt Tonga, Third Liberation Movement, at 10 hours. Francis Mandona Mwape, People's Party, the party for Sebastian Copeland, Wanalumpa Party, Kuriwena Francis Mandona Mwape. He's been given 11 hours. Then the Forum for Democracy and Development has been given 12 hours. Remember, Forum for Democracy and Development had paid 100,000 under Brian Ntayalwa Munduvile, and they had brought the 1,000 supporters. So they've given them 12 hours on Tuesday. Kasonde Simwenda, Economic Freedom Fighters Party, at 13 hours. Brian Ntayalwa Munduvile, National Reconciliation Party for Unity and Prosperity. So Brian was forced to pick another special purpose vehicle under Tonse Alliance because FDD was infiltrated. FDD had not been given documents. We saw a rebellion with people that held a press conference on FDD. Clearly, FDD became a present, like a poisoned chalice. It has a remarkable leader, noble man in Dr. Chifumu Banda, State Council. But unfortunately, the state, like they have done to the Patriotic Front, they invaded FDD. So Brian, taking cautionary measure, has gone to another special purpose vehicle, which is under Tonse Alliance, called National Reconciliation Party for Unity and Prosperity, NRP-UP. Now, the ruling party and other stakeholders are ridiculing Brian that is changing political parties. Mwe bantu bakwalisa ama elections yali kwati bwali bwambusa bwakulya uchenjele. the enemy, don't blame Brian, blame President Hakainde Hichilema, who has invaded the FDD, who's disrupting the operations of FDD, who's failing to honor the commitments of the General Conference held by FDD, who is sponsoring elements in FDD like he did in PF. Do not blame Brian Mpundu. Brian Mpundu is just trying to exercise his constitutional right. Under the PF, it didn't work. He went to Tonse. They've got a special purpose vehicle in the FDD. There are clear signs that there is a danger in this vehicle. Bale fumia kwa mawilo kuli imotoka, bale vika moshuga muinjini. Do you still want to say, Brian, get on this vehicle, yala kutwala ku Zambia, or it will take Zambians out of poverty? You cannot take a risk. So Brian has taken a new special purpose vehicle called National Reconciliation Party for Unity and Prosperity. Sorry, I keep on saying Brian. Mashwanga tuwalibere shanya vanensu bonsawa. But on official forum, I'm supposed to say Honorable Mpundu, you know, as now was forced to take up a special purpose vehicle. Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, under Patriotic Front, we saw he submitted the 100,000, he brought the 1,000 supporters, and is expected to file his nominations at 15 hours. On Wednesday, 20th May 2026, Chanda Augustine Katoto starts the day under Sean Tembo's political party, Patriots for Economic Progress and Development, and Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP. He will be followed by Kafula Muvanga, Development People's Party, Dr. Richard Silumbe, Leadership Movement Party, LMA, then followed by Dr. Fred Membe, Socialist Party. Dr. Fred Membe is heading the People's Pact Alliance. Then Bishop Trevor Msonda Mwamba, he doesn't have a party yet, but he says he will advise. Then Moses Mawere, Exodus Party for Peace and Prosperity, has been given 15 hours. But we know that Honorable Moses Mawere, former sports minister and leader of Exodus Party for Peace and Prosperity, joined the Orange Alliance that is headed by Honorable Harry Kalava, Citizen First President, and he officially stated that he had withdrawn from the race. On Thursday, 21st May 2026, we've seen the introduction of Jackson Silave, who has paid the 100,000 kwacha. Is expected to process the 1,000 supporters and file on Thursday, 21st May 2026, under Golden Party Zambia. We have seen Dr. Sebastian Chamina Copeland. He's now been sponsored by another party called Democratic National Party. Then we have Honorable Makebi Zulu, who is under PF Pamozi Alliance, the one that has now joined with Tonse Alliance, the PF Pamozi Alliance. After the troubles of FDD went to Tonse, they elected a new special purpose vehicle. Remember, they had NCP that won elections in Petauke, then they had FDD that won elections in Chawama. And now, because of those dynamics, the PF Pamozi Alliance picked Resolute Party as the new special purpose vehicle. The young man, Akim Anton Njovu, Democratic Union, is expected to file at 12 hours. Reverend Dr. Given Katuta, the independent presidential candidate, at 13 hours. Joseph William Dolo, a party, I think it will be independent, at 14 hours. And to end that day, we'll end with Dr. Brian Mushimba, Organized People's Party, 21st May 2026 at 15 hours. Friday, the last day for filing of nominations. The day will start with Dr. Richwell Siamnene, New Focus Party, at 9 hours. Mwansa Mumbi Mupunda, Independent Presidential Candidate. This is a new name. We didn't see it earlier, but it has popped up on the calendar. That means they paid in the last week, the 100,000 kwacha. So Mwansa Mumbi Mupunda is standing as an independent. Then Pastor Peter Chanda, New Congress Party, former special purpose vehicle for PF Pamosi Alliance, is now standing, and the time is 11 hours. The process will end with President Hakainde Hichilema at 13 hours on 22nd May, Friday, 22nd May, 2026. ECZ says the schedule above is a list of aspiring presidential candidates who have expressed interest to the commission to be perilous. It was going to be outside the constitution, it was going to be outside the law, it was going to be outside precedents, it was going to be outside the Electoral Process Bill and the Electoral Act of 1996. What she has stated, what Brown Kasaro has stated here, is a proper position founded in the law. Validation of nominations will be conducted by the returning officer from Monday 18th to Friday 22nd May 2026. What this means is when you bring your documents, they've scheduled certain rooms. Room 5 is where you go first. They'll look at your documents. Did you pay the 100,000 kwacha? Show us a receipt. Did you process the 1,000? Show us a receipt. Here are the qualifications by the Republican Constitution. Are you Zambian? Where is a copy of your NRC? Are you above the age of 35? Have you been resident in Zambia for, in the last 5 years? Have you discharged if you're bankrupted? Any discharge for? So they are going to pre-process you, and the document officers will tick the boxes. If you qualify, they'll usher you in now in the main hall, where you and your running mate and 20 supporters will now go to the returning officer. Present your documents. She will observe the documents from the document officers who will have pre-processed them, and she will then give you documents for you and your running mate to sign. When you sign, she's expected to say you validly filed in your nominations, or she's going to invalidate the nominations, especially with the rules they've set up where they want the documents from Registrar of Societies, whether your adoption certificate has been signed by the President and the Secretary General, and the letter of sponsorship also, if you are being sponsored by a political party, has been signed by persons that are authorized at the Registrar of Societies. And then do not allow that, no, like we at the earlier heard, that she wanted to announce whether you are validly nominated or not on 30th May. No, that is outside the law. What this memo is saying is a correct position. When you come on Monday, she has to look at your documents and authorize you just there and then to say you've been validly nominated, or your documents have been invalidated and your nomination has been rejected. The 7 days from 23rd when they close to 30th May is what has been provided in the Constitution. If there is any dispute from anyone, that is the 7 days that can be used to bring up this issue to the Electoral Commission of Zambia by saying, mwaleta bachitaluchilufya, if our PF tuke mind wa PF bachitaluchilufya nibani bamisalire convention yafu minekwi mu PF to learn that you have to be elected by the Congress who elected you. So it's that 7 days period in which you can challenge the nomination. It's not for Mama Mwangala Zalomis to take all your nomination and say they'll come back on the 30th to announce. No. The 7 days has been provided by the law for anyone who wishes to challenge the nominations. Outsiders, public, members of the public, stakeholders, like I'm giving an example of Chitaluchilufya. If our PF took a mine, but Chitaluchilufya, my to name up a PF, in Emmanuel Mwamba, Nine, member of Central Committee, Nine, chair of Information and Publicity. So it is that period for contest of any nominations. So that's what is provided for. I'm going to go to the summaries of the constituencies. Why am I going to the summaries of the constituencies? Is President Hakainde Hichilema If you have seen the recent write-ups and analysis, they are projecting that President Hakainde Hichilema will win elections. How will he win the elections? That's a matter I want us to discuss after this break.
Varia who wanted to disturb us in Chungola, yesterday I hear they are planning to disturb the polling station Ninshi Kulefyo Barefwaya. When we won, I told you not to revenge, not to beat anybody. Bafile bale chindika. Mule umpaka. Bafile bale stashani. We protected them because you would have nailed them. You could have nailed them. I protected them. They must not extend their lucky.
Remember, today we are remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. You'll be able to call for your views, to tell us what you think of that. The dates for ward councillor nominations is Thursday 21st May to Friday 22nd. The campaign period, of course, is going to kick in on 23rd May, the last day of filing of nominations. Friday 22nd, Saturday, the official date of campaigns begins on 23rd May 2026. Polling day is 13th August 2026. Monday 18th May 2026 to Friday 22nd May 2026. This is where presidential candidates will be filing in of nominations. I'll be discussing why President Hichilema is projecting confidence that he will win this year's elections. And we will poke the holes in that narrative by using the facts. Many stakeholders are feeling that ECZ has already undermined them. Despite what we talk about composition of ECZ coming from one regional area, having UPND cadres, ECZ had pledged at the meeting, consultative meeting that was held on 17th April 2026, that number one, the Commission will engage the Registrar of Societies regarding concerns raised on the registration of political parties, including their failure to update records. This has not been done, as we have seen. So while this is committed that is going to sit with the Registrar of Societies to ensure that the records of office bearers was properly updated, like in the case of FDD, in the case of UNIP that had won a court case, in case of NCP that had won a court case, the troubles around PF, ECZ has not resolved this. ECZ said they were going to engage the Attorney General on behalf of the contesting presidential election, presidential candidate, on the implication of who is been living in Zambia. Because remember, the previous constitution said you had to be continuously resident in Zambia for 20 years to be president. That period, 20 years, has been removed. I think it has been replaced by an innocuous word like regularly, or you must have, it is no longer clear. So ECZ had pledged that they were going to ask the ECZ the Attorney General to advise on the period required of residency required, because it's no longer in the Constitution like it was in the past where it had mentioned 20 years. There was a crisis around the verification of grade 12 certificates. ECZ pledged that they will speak with the Examination Council of Zambia and to promote especially the clearance through online platform and physical verification. The pre-processing of the 100 supporters was raised. I think this has gone very well. The membership fee, the review of the nomination fees, people were saying 100,000 kwacha was too expensive and 95,000 kwacha for women was very expensive. ECZ yielded to this. It didn't increase, but it didn't reduce either. It maintained the odd rate. But it said it would review the nominations fees for parliament, mayors, council chairperson, and councillors. We saw that list where there was a revision. Why is President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND expressing confidence that hiyo kale awini Hichilema na win na confusion ya opposition now in Hichilema? This is the reason they've conducted a delimitation exercise where they've increased the number of constituencies. In Central Province, there were 15 constituencies. They've been increased to 23. On the Copper Belt, there were 22 constituencies. They've been increased to 29. In Eastern Province, you had 20 constituencies. They've been increased to 29. In Luapula, you had 15 constituencies, and it has only been increased by 5 to come to 20. Lusaka had 12 constituencies, 6 were added, they are now 18. Muchinga had 8, they've added 6, they've come to 14. Northern Province had 13, they've added 6 constituencies, and they've come to 19. Northwestern Province had 12 constituencies, they've added 7, and they've come to 19. Southern Province, there were 20 constituencies, they added 9, and they've come to 29. Western Province, 19, and they've come to 26, adding 7. Now, when you look at this, President Hichilema is saying, look, in Southern Province, our candidates, first, we are not allowing independents. They will not allow UPND independent candidates to stand. So he's projecting that in Southern Province, all the 29 seats will go likely unopposed because they think that the opposition will not feature any candidate. And they project a similar number in Western Province. You have 26 seats. They are projecting again a large number of UPND seats, literally they're going unopposed. And in Northwestern Province, where they've increased by 12, adding 7 to 19. If you look at this, Hichilema is saying out of 226 seats, I'm starting with a head start of about 60 seats unopposed before we even go to elections. This is a narrative he's giving his stakeholders, he's giving financiers, he's giving the international community. He's saying, look, our GDP has grown from 26 to 29 billion. Our foreign reserves have grown from $3 billion to $6.5 billion. Inflation rate is a single digit. And as UPND, our stronghold in southern, western, northwestern, and lower parts of Central Province is intact to the extent that we are starting with 60 seats before we even go to elections. And then we'll be very aggressive in Central, Copper Belt, Eastern, Luapula, Lusaka, Muchinga, and Northern Province. So he says, look, it's not rocket science that I'll win elections, but will he win the elections? Let's discuss. I'll also take time to go to some key. This will be doing very regularly so that you are following the elections properly. We will tell you where they are doing what tricks. When we call upon the opposition to unite, to work together, this is what we mean. You have to protect the vote. In 13,329 polling station, you have to deploy, this is over 60,000 people. One political party alone cannot do that, cannot do the vote protection mechanisms, cannot do a PVT on its own, even to deploy campaigners. And here, Hichilema is boasting that he may have up to 60 seats unopposed, meaning they will win elections just before any vote is cast, because they will just be waiting for the presidential vote because the parliamentarian will go unopposed. And when they are speaking like that, you've heard that we'll score 5 million, then we'll score so many seats. They are not speaking from without. These are things they are planning. What may happen is what we saw our candidates from Southern Province, where they were not even allowed to reach the polling station and file. And people were quiet when we were questioning this, where violence was used to prevent candidates in the by-elections from filing in Southern Province. We said, we want to equalize. This is a democracy. Let our candidates fail at the poll. Don't prevent them from filing in. But there they were. And they might exercise this very fully, where they will stop independent candidates and candidates coming from political parties. They will stop you before you file in. Because why is Ichilema boasting that he's going to have up to 60 seats unopposed before we even begin to have that election? The phone lines are now open. Let me hear from you. We are remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, and we are discussing the dangers regarding the electoral process.
Background, we are ready for you. Of which we know.
Go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me, and he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. To begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group, but he listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you are invited
nice.
to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things, and you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in.
If they decide to drop off, they are allowed. Look, you can pay the 100,000 and decide not to stand. You can change your mind.
And decide to stand on a different political
No, well,
is that allowed?
yeah, well, if you do that, then there has to be a pre-processing or a processing afresh of the 1,000 people. Because those people who came here to support you, they are supporting the candidate on that particular political party. Isn't that so? Now, if you decide to go next week to say, I'm standing on a different political party, then you have to bring the 1,000 supporters from that political party. Because I don't think membership of political parties is interchangeable. If you belong to one political party today and you support a candidate today on that political party, and the candidate decides to dump the 1,000 and go to another political party, then he has to produce the 1,000 from this political party where they've gone to.
Uhule ma politics wataka political prostitution. Okay? Where now we are seeing the same things that is happening, you say, in development, where the civil servant, when a senior civil servant is visiting them, they parade a person, they say this and this. This is exactly what is doing in the politics. In the first place, a political party is formed under an ideology. A political party is formed under an ideology. If there is a political party that has got no ideology, these are the political parties that they should be deregistered. It's just like churches. Today, I cannot be a Roman Catholic church. Tomorrow I wake up, I'm in RCZ. The other day I'm in Zion. The other day I'm in the seventh day. Then what am I standing for? Do I have any principles in the first place? Do I understand why the church I have joined is standing for? The answer is no. This is the political prostitution that we have seen in Eastern Province. I'm talking about in Eastern Province because that is where my mandate is. And the political parties that are receiving people that are defecting from this party to this party, they must be very, very careful. They must be very, very careful. For example, let me give you. If a political party believes in communism and another political party believes in capitalism, and if I'm a supporter of socialism or communism, how can I simply means wake up and become a capitalist today? I mean, it's nonsense. That is a prostitution. It's completely nonsense. Because these parties are formed under certain ideology, what they believe in. For example, PF, from the word go from its founder, Michael Sata, it is a
Okay, let's go. My phone was off. It's now on. You can call. We are discussing two issues. The demise of the late Archbishop of Lusaka, a well-known cleric that fought for the people, that spoke on behalf of the poor, that carried out his duties as an archbishop, a bishop, a priest, following the Catholic social teachings. And then we are discussing the perils that have been put across to bar strong candidates and just what is happening in the electoral process. That will continue to be our ongoing discussion. The lines are open. You can now call and let's participate. Call. The usual line is on, and let's hear from you. If you have any words of encouragement to the Catholic Church, well, you should pass your condolences to the President of the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, Archbishop Ignatius Chama, and the Catholic community in general. You can pass your condolences. And if you have any matter regarding the electoral process and the plans to stop strong political parties and strong political candidates, the mingalato that they are employing, you can call. Let's begin. Let's put the ball rolling.
This President Akai, and me, I'm saying to say, it's easy, it's good to follow a Freemason who is giving people free education. It's good to follow a Satanist who is feeding school-going children into schools than having a Christian. Okay? Even somebody in Christ, he says, Satana watu, apeleka free education. Satana watu, akambo menya watu. Imamkamba ati izankarako. Izankarako ni chatu. Tiendi kakumane pa ground, hapa ya yamba bato, we are ready for you, of which we know.
Errors, debt restructuring, the damage in the minds, law and order. Tori wambulaji, mwalunga mujoma mwakwela basi weyakulusaka intercity, guseluka buyombo oselugira ate basi hawakujoma. Vimenyeni, batoka kuchoma. Vimenyeni, ati dundu mwezi. Singombe wakabape, abantu bali kumu ati dundu mwezi. Ati mbaba hota maningi kuhotela againde. Amu baome winter city. sunu yagaba yamwe yagakuba mulaliendera mbomuyanda intercity kunyina womuguma wamuguma ndamwanga banyina bene wabalyawo Zambia, so many things. Although we've done, there are many more things to be done. Tujiyagumbere kubereka. Not what tarigo, not what ganka kuberego. We've just started working now. We've just started. There's a lot more work to be done. Nyambose Ulia, Ujasef, he needs more schools, more classrooms, more desks, more teachers. Work to be done. Munganduria.
We have our first caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Mpundu. Ambassador in Krendekera Kofi Ugulanda. Pia kwewa na Zambia. Nimoli mwaka ture tatafile wama. Ture wako serious mwanga. Takwewa kwewa ya chupa. Mwana ni mwako mwa wakumite ya chalo uko. Bati fintu mwitako ni kijuti chalo chetu. Parapanga effort pakwewa chimabisura menzo. Twaishiba niko twachitapantani. Tumwa sasa ngana wapene pa platform. Awani tuba konke fintu fishini serious. Kuya mukumfuafi ya mariaji. Ayasha abapere no buya njanjito bara chibisho wafya bakwezi. Ndi wonse bara utikira tubali yakuri bajeje banda bali mufuafi ya mariaji. Aba buro kusenda ku solution. Ndi bana tukuri bakirusha tayari. Kuya mukumfuafi ya mariaji. Apa buro kusinya ku solution. Kure twambo bako serious. Yishita tulipo ba ambassador. Platform yeno ko twetwa sangwa sana. Kwani tulionse so mutweba. Ma solution zaya kwa twala. Chimbeche ningalanda ba ambassador. Ile chirishi kuri ba fyashi besu. Because last corona tuni. Evani tunalepo kurumbura no mashishireshina. Opo ya ishiriyo kwa bajao benaka ba Telesphore Mpundu no mbeshina lyaliya. Pali ikintu kya kushupa ama opposition leaders kweba kibeyimirina kabemi ya abantu nomeshina lyabo lyaliya ebakima tukonalera nara kitefu nalingiro okurumbura kwati yemuchikwa kwile nokko lero leso mwino mwa makayonse bakira kipafu abantu bashara abantu mwa wabolali mukigo kyefintu babomba fintu sana ifingi mukatulanga iliyo tabalashika Mamba ambassador ine na isa power balirwa Roma election. Ambassador fi mulela ndoko ebati. Baka kwacha ama yumukiza abati. Chichi nka ambassador kiba kwati. Ile chichi. Ayama politics ya leaders so abare bakonga imwe ba ambassador. Fintu chiya bakona bwino. Lero tekiruse okufuna arangire dore sheri ba ambassador ama break away amkie para turero lero kweba kipange special purpose kweba kitwambye okwendera pamu bambi bakita break away afumamo bapanga tension ukuba eche kibera ni bali busy bali ekita organize abo abakitire break away instead bali yakulia Southern province Northwestern province. Bali abachita scripture ama structures. Why again kurakwini okuli ama structures. Aya PF wakali. Oko barumba mukura pange fintu kura kasaba. Okuli shena bali chechi bena bali busy. Ukwimirira nakurakwina ku strong kumwezi. Ina ikusho kweba kwa Brian Mundubire. Oko batangire kwa barangira bali serious. Wanje benaraba kwata bakandidate kura ku Zambia. Naraba kwata bakandidate kura ku Western province. Baya febize wale panga baile febize wale pange chongo ku Northern province na kuruwa pula ukura decentralize ama structures ya PF. So baile cheti na nguba mufokoro cyo ba Brian balera ndwa ba Brian ndibire bali tangira bara rolesha kura kuma Northwestern ine kuti namye bamuchinga bambassador kofi apa parufu anyama okukuli wa matambo yakuli opposition candidate tule chitachalingi bama kola kuli wa matambo rufu anyama ku yo rufu anyama yeka tule yakuma Zambians kuko babaka rubale na bakarundo kubarwa kuba kutwira ama constituency munje baba Brian Mundubire kulangana bakwatako candidate wabo so for bene ba opposition na ile unit balera ndafu fuletu abashapu ngeze mu bishapu ba Mwamba opo bayirira abanensi nanguliri na kuri assistant unit batwebe byo baleta ko bapangire ko abatangire mwala sanga tafari kura interview burongo nabo bene ba MP ba P7 nabandi ba MP abakushama amafunyi nangune abo bene ama MP zukube kushokwe bati n'abafa ko aba nabo ba opposition ngo ba Brian Mundubire ukuba kwako pakwe bati uramunchende mu constituency umulesa ngo ba UPND beka batimo babike mama nango bali bafa ko kufanyinga ba Brian Mundubire pakwe bati bakwata makandidates mu constituency yangu mulesa ngata kuli the same chairman for PF bamdaba lebo mraba Mundubire this state ngabale bombesha batalopo ama aspiring candidates aba kwimina so nangulina unit ba ambassador tulipanchi to ikuru ile tete itali tete ngabala nde so bayeke bale pokerera ama report kuma candidates yabo murama constituency ngababe kushabarama ama candidates babalera ndo onse uli konjiconnecta which is it's an offense zero lipashani kusanga kyo tuvunga ama press conference yonse ukora sese million sense kishirezia bale pangira ama press conference bafanjinga abantu bayakulya kushira ama candidates bata identify ama candidates physically bambo kusta sponsor aspiring candidates but why candidate okura shunguruka manda mu Lusaka maro nyuko press conference then I said busy na kurafuna kurwa kurasi kurunga sama kuchi rubi na kwatako candidate nomba bena mukabalete apa bakese twe baba pene mairo mubalete mukesebe kushabatera ama candidates eba kwete kuburozi eba kwete kukaromo eba kwete na pisoko nomba ngachako kwete ama candidates kuja abakatira campaign wa president iba nani tutatwe twakitana mumbali ba ambassador fure tu abako serious bakurara ndevyo nakona kwata accurate information ishina ishwaneto nechalera ndapo ero ba ambassador chimbeto nachira rombako pakuchikwa lero iriri achinara ndapo kwati ngamwalirire tate pakuchikwa lero ngamwatikomaira pamufwa yaba Telesphore na pama candidates aba baramba mairo komaira mwatirondorera sana bantu iyama MPs mishishi bena tamukubishe kubushe niri randi na nominations kwa nominations yama councillors na MPs idetiri shibaseseshe so ichiba ambassador imwange litungurushi bebe ni kwa abantu aba bera kitabya tyo baranguri ba diaspora bafire bagira kuri bena wangu omunchende na kundomo batumeko nanguri bachabo batandaka we mobilizing na ba mobilizing baba nani kati baba tonse wonse nanguri batandaka we nangu bambi ba ambassador tuma ba pushing up badaya bakaba kisikistare punda idropeko impia pinga pangira marali nimpia shinga bombo kuya kabuli abantu pa ground tabalefu ba UPND nomba kweta tuire kulia so ba UPND na bapendo ko bati ana oppose it's not too late bebe ndiko bomba ni ata babike mpia pa mo batandalira yarama structures ukuri ba UPND beka it's not too late kuya abantu abale tungo kuchibita ba UPND lero ifama parties yesu tayari fikakulia bize kama press conference tunashirika kama press conference tuli hapa ground.
Thank you very much. Alokola, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Yes, Wamtale.
Indeed, the concerns of my colleague, the other caller, just submitting his opinions, very right opinions. I think the opposition has to intensify and see that in all areas, from the branch, from wherever, from the councillor up to the MP field across the country, then we know where, as opposition were said. Ambassador, I would love to speak to the issue of the death of the former Bishop Mpundu, may so rest in peace. He was a man who was very vibrant, and if you look at the way you have actually explained, he did not take side, and he was not ashamed to say the way things are. PF criticized him because of his stance, but see how genuine he was when HH started doing things in a way that he did not expect. He criticized him. So this is how genuine this man has been. But to speak about how HH, in my view and my opinion, this man enjoys his death. It's like the devil himself. He enjoys the death for one reason. The country is under siege by the evil spirit. And that evil spirit is being championed by himself. There are a lot of things from the time he became a president, and this is not the first time I'm saying these words, sir. A lot of deaths have happened in this country, and nobody seems to take an interest, more especially from the church point of view, to begin to pray. I've said it before that there was one time we lost 54 people in the Chitambo bus accident. The country went, it was a dark moment. That was the time of Michael Sata. The country went to the church, went to pray. I know some churches weren't even on the scene of accident. They began to pray fasting. Overnights were introduced just to pray over those things. That does not mean people should not die. No, but in a way, there was a belief that they will sacrifice. But from the time that the church has been in power, from the time he became a president, there have been a number of deaths, and very, very suspicious ones for that matter. Recently, we are seeing those students, there were another group of students who were involved in the accident, a big number, 24, 23, that kind of a thing. And people are quiet. The church is quiet. And now, even when we are still mourning the former president, his body is still lying, even they went and do the postmortem, the man comes out, after the death, he comes out as if he's an angel. But before that, he's the person who attacks. This man, the bishop, he was criticized, was denied access to Test House at one point in time. He became an enemy. But this time around, he wants to portray as if he's an angel. So, sir, this is how the devil works. We are Africans. We remember Chirombo. People, when you do sacrifice, it will ask you more, ask you do so. When there's nothing to sacrifice, it asks you for your soul. Maybe it has been asking the sacrifice now. They wanted him now, Bishop Mwamba. Okay, and it comes out as if we are good people and all those things. So I'm urging the country, more especially the church, that we should pray, even as we are going through these towards elections. Let's come together as a country. Let's pray that this spirit. I remember very well in 2016, somebody says, I wanted to vote for Pierre, but I don't know what made me to vote for these guys. And he was confessing openly. Okay, recently, the other day I saw the videos of UPND candidate in Chawama saying, okay, we don't care whether he's a Freemason or he's a Satanist, but as long as he has brought some free education. Open, surely, can you, this is your presidential candidate. This is the president. And you are confessing that indeed he's a Satanist. In my view, he's confessing that indeed he's a Satanist. There's nothing to say, no, even if you call him that way. No. The man was saying, I'll choose to follow even a Satanist as long as giving him free education. So I am urging the country that let us be prayerful, let us be mindful that this man, he does not mean well. Last year, Ambassador, constitutional amendment that those are the clips that you played earlier on. We saw you did the amendment, PF and all those things. Let me speak to the amendment in 2016. It was a people's call. The Zambians themselves cried for that amendment. And I remember when the president, may so rest in peace, President Edgar Chagwalungu came to power, he directed his first minister who was appointed upon inauguration and that was the Honorable Sylvia Kula, if I recall. His first task was to see that he takes over he runs over this issue of amendment. And he did mention something interesting. He said, it's not everything that I like in this presentation of what they have represented to me. But who am I? I'm just a servant of the people. What people want, I shall give them. So what the HH has given us is what people want? The answer is no. It is what he wants to protect his presidents. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
This is Didi Ndola.
Didi from Ndola, make your contributions.
The opposition. Church and UPND Mpundu. Veikala mulusaka inguru kajati. Tuwapanga alliance tuwapamo. Itabalelera okushinguluka mu majani province. Ela ma province wafuna okutaki. Mude Western province not Western South. Abalanda bwino sana ba Mpundu. Ni to rest in peace. Ifirandire ba Mpundu inena ni omulongo. Bale rwidi chalo. Ba Mpundu bati rwidi sana mpati adumu. Badrangira sana kairi ba mwetu bale. Yaka ngomba kairi na pa Mpundu. Na pa fuira bale fitafe obo. Bale kwa tukingiwe bwi. Ba Mpundu balanda ti. Leta benda Bulungu. Eko lefa balandira yeba balandira ba. Ati ni papa ashwata mati kitenda yenda Bulungu. Nomba umulenso enda. Mwana kole mtitarekta. Tatacho kukepna kushuma peponi talepa yake kwa advise. Amiaza kwa sintukira yota kudi kushika filiwini. Duwanu wambo kumstarekta. Nomba ni tuwalalo la mwitu. Kashima kutala kuonse. Ata bale kudirwa mwangu. Aya tukakuja kuba pela ni muri drink ni muri fishire kukoka ko. Amba koko yobulu wabapa fumano lanta abantu. Nabale kelesha sana abantu bapepo bakuzaga nabale kokutabalanda ikintu ngina sichupa na kubana na fitani. Tutapata mwaba bashi bapepo mchalo. Isile sikapata mwaba bashi bapepo mchalo. Eti opposition bale bashitale flights and center ya kulanda kokuba chibaiti ba oppose bala nyamti baishi metie bashima pepo mu bali nabasha nabakulanda apomu gakayo human rights abo bena kubana kulubalina edimbo dapaba necho wenga kuchitala wenga kudoloira kwati kuyimira sowe mwine weka nombanishi chalo chile yako Mwamba tampeni kukomaila pale ababa opposition tampeni ukuko kwine kuma southern ko kwine ngaba mukumyuma na ku western ko kwine ngaba mukumsensi date ala tukashi bati bambo kumyuma kwana twajishi bati kutubamyuma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. Sinyangwedani on the line here.
Yes, Sinyangwedani.
My contribution, first and foremost, it's a sad day for the Catholic family and then the Mpundu family, for the bishop for losing one of the greatest men of God in Zambia, who was fearless and he had no one to fear. If you look at it, Mpundu, he was one of the best critics for ECL. He was always going to criticize ECL, and he was one of those people, if you remember during the time that our current president was in jail, Now, I took time yesterday to listen to your podcast interview when you interviewed Bishop Mpundu. The words that he said is this. This is one dictator who is a one-man dictator. Other dictators work with other people. Now, here's this man who knows this person. In the entire history of our president, there are three people that know him very well. The late Bishop Mpundu, the late President Edith Nawakwi, and then his former president, Dr. Canisius Banda. Dr. Canisius Banda will define who this man is. And then we should not also not forget the words of our founder president, our president Kenneth Kaunda. He said it and now we are living it. So as I can say this, and everyone that is listening, if the bishop in his own way of saying things can say this is a one-man dictator, Mwechalo, what are you waiting for? And then secondly, Mwamba, do you know that this is the easiest election ever in Zambia that we are going to have? Why am I saying it's easy, Mwamba? Why it is easy? Because here is a man who came on the platform, who's the president, who made so many promises that he has delivered nothing. This is where the opposition are missing it. The opposition are busy fighting each other, and then the man that they're supposed to fight is even laughing at them to say, if his own people, Mwamba, have you noticed? Most of the MPs in UPND are saying we are not going to contest. Why? Because they know there's nothing for them to tell the people. You know, you can't be an MP 5 years and then you say, no, I'm not contesting, because insoni, walambila peso pokeba wanted naliwombefi. But now we have found ourselves, the opposition. What is wrong with Bantu? Do we need less? I say Zambia no kutulangshat. Enough is enough. Because these are the easiest election ever to be contested in Zambia. Because the person that you're contesting for, it does not even stay in State House. That house has been vacant for 5 years. It's waiting for people who can move in. And the Zambian people have decided all they want is, who are we voting for on the 13th of August? Just like Mpundu has said, yesterday there are two things that I was following. I had time to listen to the podcast that you had with Mpundu. Then I had time to listen to this press conference. It reminded me of the early days of VUCA. Yes, it's important to unite. But this unity, is it for fun or is it for the people of Zambia? Mpundu said, we need now to see people, if the unity is for a purpose, start now moving and mobilizing people. Time is not with us. And if we allow this time not to happen for the Zambian people will not forgive you leaders in the opposition. I submit to Mwamba. God bless you and God bless Zambia.
Okay, let's pick some more calls. I've got a caller waiting here. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yes, with me, I just want to say something on units. I'll start with churches. I think our churches in Zambia, they are not preaching what they have to be doing. What I'm seeing is very dangerous, and I don't know where we are heading as a country. Because what I've seen is that the churches themselves in Zambia, I'm not seeing any unity. Kwaliwaka patrula within the churches, because if I thought the churches are united, they could have come together and convince this government whereby we need our former president to rest. Bamwamba inenewa George Kabulingo. Please let me tell you today, Mark, when you write something on a paper, I want to assure you today that Zambia shall never see peace, provided this man, so-called Lungu, is not put to rest up today. And the reason why Lungu is not put to rest, these people that are in government, one, they are not the people that can hear any advice from anyone so far. So we are the people, we have to rise up together in full capacity, together with the church. These people, that's when they can hear. I'm telling you, Mwamba, if at all these churches come together in units, you can see the results. You can see the result 100%. Because what I'm seeing now is just evil. Everything is evil. Everything is Kulipevich. Imagine someone is in mortuary close to 1 year. Someone was a president. for this country for so many years. No one is even willing, sure, these pastors that we have. We have pastors in SDA. I've never seen an SDA pastor to visit the president, to talk to him, surely on this issue, to say, please, let us do this. Let us do that. Let us allow the wishes of the family. I've never seen that. I've never seen a pastor from Salvation Army, from Watchtower, from these other churches, but Pentecostal, what and so forth. But we go ahead, we go say we have pastors in Zambia. What kind of pastors we have in Zambia who can't unite a very small country like Zambia? Me, I always call you Mwamba, and if you have observed this number, I've always been telling you to say, as long as Balungu tabalashikwa, Zambia shall never see peace. Even this general election that we are about to have in the next few months, it shall never be a peaceful general election, because devil is ruling. Devil is controlling every corner of this country, and therefore Isemanje, together with these church members, we have been overcome. We are not even doing anything to pray against this kind of evil. Me, I'm very worried.
Thank you, my brother.
Disappointed 100%. And the reason why I'm concerned Varungu to be buried is because what? I remember me, my father died in 2015, and therefore during that time I was struggling to go to school. When Varungu came in Kawi, he talked to my mom direct. From there I was given a sponsorship in full capacity until I completed my secondary school. So I'm very disappointed. That family, I love that family 100%. I'm part of that family. So, and when I see his children, his family, and also the people who are following up and near to him, crying, what, I feel bad as well. So what I'm saying in short is that let us try by all means, please, to force these pastors, to force them by all means to talk to these people who are ruling us, so that we can put to rest our former president Mwamba too. Ni kusema Zambia is an indana natiro washua, such that we I will never see this, please.
Thank you, my brother. Let's allow other callers. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Mama T.
Mama T, make your contribution.
Mkwai. First, therefore, ndande amashiwa ya ndosha kuri batata beso abatushire ba bishop awe lesa abashiteresti mu kibote. And then Mwamba ndifo kulanda ko pali 15 barandire ba bishop weso ababe n'abatushire okweba ati bakainde tabo for advice na inentu nasuminisho ko bati tabo for advice ichachine, because so apa tumone ba Mwamba pano tuli, this is a time for campaigns, because as far as I'm concerned paseti in August tufire twavota nombe chile chitika ni chinshi ayo ama nominations olo yale ya through nombayo amalamulo kula chinja fi amalamulo every day ichalo chaba fimbi year of elections taire moneka pono kuti ati ni year of elections awe muchalo mule moneka fimbi so ababa nabo nomba bena bale banyantirira takuri ukweba ati muste campaign bwino mwe bantu mwalomba nankane mwalomba permit yo ine babe nuko bati kuyasenda permit pakwe bati mukwaterali nga bale focus takanso bala stakanso at any given time nomba twalaikala shani ni democracy shire tumishe fofine ifile chitika mu Zambia mwamoni ifintu tafile ndabwino ifipani nabona ule fipani fyaba nabo bena baikere mu opposition for so many years. Ero bale sta contest fe bwino takwaru wale bachinga bali minina bakainde bayi minina bapona balipangapo ama-alliances n'amaparties yambi takwali ifyo tulemo nokwe bati yo nga namukwata alliance again you should start afresh ukushitana nkane ukushitafawo ina manominations tatwafyumfuirepo efyo amalamulo nayakiramo bamwamba n'abakwata amalamulo ayengisa nayo balepanga and then like bamunkonge bakiranda okwe bati tapali nangu amakampeni otumfireko nangu ama-candidates from these other ama-strongholds yabo yaba UPND tatulewonfwapo ifo yabesu okwe bati kidishane tufwire na ifo twashitafawo inuko ama-candidates nangu kiri kyashupa natwishiba kali bena n'ababanking okwe bati n'abakwata kale yali afine mulandiro okwe bati 60 seats n'abeshiba bena ati n'abakwata n'abaya banka and then now you come and manipulate as people now in these other ama regions where he's not even strong mamonene basende ko batole ko omono efyo barefwaya bakaindi nomba inishini democracy ya msango shani mwe bantu bakwalisa tantu democracy mufire bonse namkwata fe free time monse namkwata fe nankane yako bati mulesta campaign bwino takuru kushita na intimidate nomba awe shuwa tachiweme and then abo ba member wabo abalelanda abalina proud kwe bati no ifo free mason wesu firine firi afena nangu nebo nshafi mwene bwino because namwishiba bamwamba leti mwishibe mu bantu ndo abantu bateka kasi abantu bali serious. You cannot be promoting something very negative. Zambia is a Christian nation. Nangwaba na bale umfo kuwe batishana. Bofata ama Freemasons nishu bachita. Balambo kushita investigate abana. Balefo abatwale kuise chalo. Mwema Christians, chen tuiminine, chen tupepe. This is a battle. This is not a simple thing. You know, bakaunda lo balandiro ko bati no, if there's one I see this one akainde echidema. Tatwafi mwene ifwe. Twamwene fe pasa face. But abale mona fe kumpashi fe bwino. Bakaunda echo bati what did they fear most from him? Those are questions that we should be asking ourselves. What is it that he saw in him that made him to fear? Those are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Tufire to afukama pama kufiya baleso ko bati balesa baturuire batwe because the fair player patapali mwala umfana tumfa kumbiko kuma political parties na abaya balefo ya ma secretary general ba ma political parties ayo uko bati yawe kabiyeni kukoti mushite fine nobani ichalo cha msango shani bakainde ngakali popular fine balanda ati bakawina na 5 million antishani huko ni state baleka abana abo beminine fe balefo kwiminina without intimidations elo tumone nombo kwe bati abantu bakavota shani because honestly speaking if fyose firera ngo kwe bati bakainde n'abafirwa if fyose fe bashitire promise abantu bali firwa kushita fofiwo so nomba nabe chubo kwe bati background tapali bwino apa tapali nangu umuntu lera ndesuma pali bakainde obuli wonsalera ndatawe kabalera nababa votere kumu awe tatuleba fwaya nabale yafi naba monate abantu naba bemina so nombe cyo bale fwaya nomba bena kusta intimidate abantu ukweba ati bakabe ba president na pamaka noti ubufwayo wabantu awe bale fwaya okuba president by force, which is not right. When people say no, it is no. And then to respect people's rights, it is very, very important. Mpundu ababene baleti ba bishop aba bali basapota bakainde bati basamu nokwe bati awe twalipanga mistake mwe bantu bakwalesa tend to bwerere twiste and do what we did wrong if you achitike so bakainde please to apapata chiteni the right thing mwiona ule chalo temwefye mwekawe chalo chesu bonse chani tumfwane mu chalo tuchite chiri right.
Thank you, Maya.
Nabadi kusoku banaka
Thank you, Mai. Leken tufe kona bambi. Mkwai, thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make a contribution.
Yeah, this is Precious Inonga Writer from Livingston.
Yes, Precious.
First and foremost, I want to pass my condolences to the family of the late Mpundu. Secondly, I want to talk about your President Hakainde Hichilema. I was listening to the interview where he was being interviewed to ask about the cyber that he promised the people that he's going to reverse. So instead of answering the question, he started now saying something which was not even there. The truth is, President Hakainde Hichilema, he cannot lie to say that he brought cyber to protect, to deal with criminals. Himself, he mentioned it the time when Balungi was still in power. He said there are so many laws that can deal with criminals, not cyber. The truth is, President Hakainde Hichilema, he don't mean well, and every time we will continue saying that. And I'm urging all the opposition leaders, all of them, let them not allow President Hakainde Hichilema to continue doing whatever he's doing. This country is not for President Hakainde Hichilema, it's for all of us. So if you are going to be weak, if we are not going to stand and fight for what is right, how do you expect even other countries, like I can give an example of International Criminal Court of Law, how can they come in if us Zambians people, we are not standing to fight this battle before anybody else comes in? What Hakainde Hichilema is doing right now is taking advantage of each and everyone. So let us all open our eyes and fight this battle. Even when these others, they come in, at least this battle should start with us. That is what I wanted to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear sister. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Thank you very much, my brother. And please, we continue appreciating the effort that you continue putting up. I know you to be a very strong man.
Thank you, my brother.
I know you to be a very strong man, my brother. Yeah.
Introduce yourself and make your contribution.
My name is Muntu Musoso, and I'm calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Thank you, my brother. Make your contribution.
People say, Chikumi kumi chabukuyu, mukati mwaki, olinyerere. We have all witnessed a tsunami of the rejections of this UPND leadership. So practically, what do we learn from there? What we learn from there that President Hakainde Hichilema was running a dead government completely. Amaksimuwe kumakeni kwa chitotava mazilo. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. Mazilo eka wa chitotava. Mai Sylvia Masebo, she's trying to manufacture figures this side. But the point we are saying is, with all these kind of rejections, how can the president end up winning? So what we are saying is that please, we continue putting our hope in the opposition, and I continue advising them not to be releasing too much information. Because you are dealing with people who are cunning, you are dealing with people who are evil, you are dealing with people who are planning also every day. Don't release information too much. There's a lot of moving targets all over. Mwangala Zalome's, his daughter has a murder case that is pending. So for her, it is life and death. We have Chipens there whose sole purpose is to ensure that they win. That's why you are seeing we have never had any general elections where Malamurango change every day like this. We have never had any general elections like that. That is a sign of a scared government. President Hakainde Hichilema is not a Democrat. Levi Patrick Mwanawasa told us in the book by Amos Malpanga that the man is just interested in getting whatever I get. He doesn't mind the means. Democrats, the way HH understands is to get whatever he wants. And we have seen it over and over. He went there, he was even boasting Kumonzo. He bribed the members of parliament to ensure that they pass his bill. And that is exactly how he wants to procure the presidency. He wants to, where he is failing, he wants to use the resources, money, to be buying off all the people. We continue paying tribute to people like Reverend
Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu.
Yes. Great discipline and principle we learn again. And these are the people whom President Ndechilema must sit and reflect on. These are the people who supported him. And these are the people who have died out of principle. These are people who we must learn a lot from. So what we are saying is that, in conclusion, I'm appealing to all my friends that this is the time for all of us actually to double our efforts. All concerned citizens, this is the time for us to double our efforts. The message is loud and clear. President Ndechilema has been rejected. So this tsunami of rejection is a rejection of President Ndechilema. No one in this country is pleased with what President Ndechilema is doing. But UTH, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, even the wheelchair is not there now. Wheelchair is not there by UTH. Send somebody, go and check what the whole system has completely collapsed. So what we are saying is that we need to ensure that we double our efforts. I'm appealing to all my colleagues in this field to ensure that this is the time to remain awake and ensure that we double our efforts. But most of all, let us ensure that we remain prayerful. Because Muntu, he listens to the organization you have heard. The Archbishop has told you, the man doesn't listen. He only listens to the organization. Let me end there. Let me end here so that I can.
Thank you, my brother.
More powerful tomorrow, my brother.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
Good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening.
Okay, I choose to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Okay, so first of all, it's a sorry part for Mother Zambia. Mwamba, what is happening right now to every Zambian, it's a sorry part. Otherwise, the political field is so compromised. I say so because most of the people, like opposition, has been trumped on such that they can't even speak, such that they are prone to intimidation every day. But this is a country we call a Christian country. Now, what is happening, Mwani, is so sorry. And my fear about this country, where we are heading to the polls, to the general election, we find that opposition have been intimidated every time, everywhere. Now, how are we going to have, a free and fair election? So, one thing I'm calling upon the churches all over this country, also in international communities, and well wishers, those who think they mean well for this country, to come on board, at least to speak to the power that be, to help, create an environment where an opposition also can have freedom to express themselves. Yes, I agree that they have trumped on our rights as citizens to fail even to speak out. But we have at least a few people who can stand and speak for us who can't speak. But now, even those a few, they don't have that capacity, that environment where they can express themselves. Now, ichalo chesu chilalola kuisa ba Mwamba. The only thing that I can now call for all Zambians is that let us get united in prayer. I think God can answer our prayers because God is the one who sees from in and out. I think we need also to knees down to pray for Mother Zambia. I think it will help us. And lastly, let me give this to you, Mwamba. Continue what you are helping the people of Zambia. At least some of us, we can speak through you. Yeah, we are failing even to post on our pages on Facebook or whatever for fear of being arrested or so of some sort. Because this time around there's no freedom in Zambia. You can't speak freely. So, Mwamba, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the time that you have given me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Uncle J. Ambassador, greetings to you.
Thank you, Uncle J. Make your contributions.
Thank you very much. Let me just start by remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. May his soul rest in peace. This is the man that has stood the test of time, has spoken to power as it should be. From the time of MMD to the time of PF, his position was the same. He fought for justice, for the ordinary people, for the poor, good governance and democracy. He stood with this very president that we have today, spoke for him, advocated for him, stood for him, even in a very difficult time. He's a man that believed in this man. Unfortunately, we have seen that all those people that stood with President HH, all those people that helped and spoke for President HH, they were abandoned in a way that he would not listen to them. And Telesphore Mpundu was one person that tried to advise the president that we have today. But the president never listens to anyone, including to the Bishop Telesphore Mpundu. Bishop Telesphore Mpundu will go down as a man that stood for justice. Ambassador Mwamba, we are in a very difficult situation as a country. We are actually on a crossroad. We are in a place where democracy is non-existent per se. I was shocked to hear the president say when we go out to campaign in this competition, we should not tell lies. And I wondered, and that shook me to the core. How is it, does our president speak something different from what he thinks? Or he just says things that pop up from somewhere? I just wondered. I want to call on also all the opposition leaders, the civil society, on the issue of President Kasonde Mwenda. We should not let this government take advantage of the innocent. We have democracy. What Kasonde Mwenda said was not a lie, was the truth. And we should not be quiet when one of us is arrested in this manner. After Kasonde Mwenda, who knows who will be next? So I'm calling upon all the civil society. I'm calling upon all the opposition political parties, especially leaders. Can you speak against this? We call upon this government to release President Kasonde Mwenda. He doesn't deserve to be locked in the manner that is being locked. President HH said, when he assumes power, he will not allow anyone to spend more than 48 hours in cells without going to court. He said it himself. Kasonde Mwenda is being held on charges that don't even make sense. So we are calling for the release of Kasonde Mwenda. Opposition, rise up and speak for Kasonde Mwenda, please. Let us understand and let us know the welfare of his family and where he's being kept. I thank you, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Alokola, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and give us your contributions.
Hello, Mwamba, Mwabombeni mkwai.
Mkwai Mwabombeni.
Kwa bueno, Mama Nyirenda, ndetumina kusuvaleste.
Mama Nyirenda, make your contribution.
Mkwai, my condolences ku family aba Mpundu. Chakuluchiririsha sana okwebati aba Mpundu bale tulandira ku pachali chesi cha Zambia kino. Omulando wakwati fitungana filubana. Bena tabale ikatakukanwa, tabale kino omuntu onse bale mwe fintu fishinka. Mukwisa kuma politics bamwambe chalo nacho nauka. Nga mwamona apa bamwamba bana mayo tabalelala. Bana mayo bafulira okutuma amafoni ku mulabasa weno. Nangu muchechi abafulani bana mayo. Nangu muchalo abafulani bana mayo. Lero na mayo nga aima fili minine mama chikamoneka. Ba UPND bali nokuchimona. Echo tulelomba kwa fine balandira abantu bonso kwa bati ba UPND ba president echechi bemona kino kyalo kwati kyalo kyabobeka bemona abantu abengi nabekalazi kwati nabatemwa besende kyalo kwati ninganda yabo bantu ba president echechi ifale kitakuba nabo ngefe bakisire balongo ngata tulebeta pono kwati ba president echechi lero nga bale kutika please twapapata echo tule milomba konse komuli let in peace mchalo cha Zambia echo tatule fwaye fya kwa tukatampe okubutuka ifwe bambi twalile mana tetukwanisha okubutuka awe tontonka shani ko fwe bale mana mwatontonga kwate abale mana bakabutuka shani ngabali abakote bakabutuka shani uko bati bakaleta efintu fishilingire muno Mzambia bantu abantu imitima irefulwa aba bakateka badishire n'obufi uwako bati barateka ekyalo kino na malamuno bati malamulo sibakonka malamulo ba president ba echechi bala kitafe balunga ba former president ba echechi balungu mpashwa olale mchibote ba echechi wetafe nga ba president bashitakwa kali konsensi bali pamwera ba echechi ukulanda pachalo kino ero efe baleisa kwati baisa mkulukulu abantu mukyalo songa twekala panshi tule tontonka kwati ekuchira file balandire ba president ba former president bakaunda kyali kishinka ukwabati nga mwapera uyu muntu ivoti baisala nokubalaba nation zoona akaleta omuliro pakyalo twamipapata tatulefa tukende kwati mama chikamoneka mukyalo kino please mwimona abantu bambina bekalazi ifwe bambita twaleko okulanda omulanda telefone omutende mukyalo kyesu lekena banenu beminine nga kulusa baluse beka byabifina kilanda mama tukati mwali luse mikwingi bati mwali luisha baba kateka nokubomba na mufiwa corruption ni pamushi pa sausage airport padya twale manana ngane ile tani ngokuya muri chako efe mrefu abantu bale ikale efe fino kwa tule bale flo kulanda zona mchalo chili chatu mwabika na malamulo fulu aya kwa batinga balanda ni kamata wena lero tulefu aya de tukashindikisha ba plan mundubire naba makebi zulu tatulefu omuntu wa kubachinga tulefu ana bena bakateke kwati mwemere fumule teke fifine ero bena tulefu bakateke bwino tatulefu bena bakabemo no bufi tifuna chalo chatu shibwererepo mameche zeli kudala abantu balelanda abantu bakwate ukuyisosera umuntu ngalefa okulanda kintu nachirubana afwire alanda notukutina tingana alanda ekyaso balantu mina bakapokola ekyo kyena twakana mwishinali aba Yesu Kristo.
Thank you Mayo, thank you very much.
Please twapapata bamwamba leke ntulelanda notulefa okulanda omulandu wa mwenso awe mubombe bwino.
Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba.
Endita.
This is the
Mwewa from Livingston.
Mwewa from Livingston, make your contribution, my brother.
Yes, Southern Province Coordinator under Makebi Zulu.
Thank you, my dear brother. Make your contributions.
Yeah, Bamwamba. Lakini first njambe poko mitasha. Pamili mumwe gombe. Insa kamwa teke arapushane charoni nensake. But pale wama minds kali sana hapa. And the other thing is, I also want to thank you because through this platform, we have started coordinating with the callers and that we've started, in short, we've started identifying each other. So, trebomba sana.
Are you there, Wamwewa?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Hello?
Oh, okay. Yes, I lost you there. Yes, continue. Popo machawa tama callers mnesta coordinate.
Yeah, ama callers mnesta coordinate buno.
Oh, what's happening kuli Wamwewa lelo? Try to go back, Wamwewa. Try to go back. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Ambassador Mwabombe, you are nameless.
Nameless, make your contribution, my dear sister.
Yeah, Mwabombe Daddy. Yeah, nothing but Mwamba. Yeah, the first thing, my condolences to the Archbishop Mpundu. Yeah, may he so rest in peace. Yeah, from what you had actually talked about him, I didn't know him, but of course, yeah, we read and we always learn about a lot. Mr. Ambassador, some of us who are devoted Christians and we believe in the power of the Lord. Mwamba time has become so tight. It has become so tighter that the more it has become, the more people are actually getting worried. We are actually getting very much worried. A lot have remained still, but this does not mean that people are not into action. Yeah, we know very well. Yeah, the reason why most of them aren't talking or aren't coming up. Yes, you know that the mind of the person is what controls the entire body. Yeah, people need directions. But if there is no one to speak out for them, there is nothing they can do. Yes. Elo chingecho ndefu kulanda chakwe bati. Ichi vipi shepo sana. Ni intimidation. This is what not even, it's not what is letting even the opposition to take action. Yeah, I think this is what we should all look at. It's so confusing. What Mwamba pointed out is credible. But then, what should people do? All I can say is, if someone has come up trying to fight, for the people of Zambia, they should forge ahead and move on and reach out to people, direct people, because we are left only with the very, very few months. Yeah, it's about almost maybe 3 months to the elections. Erona chimbi chingecho ndefu kulanda ba Mwamba. A lot has been described about Wakateka. Quite a lot, and we all know. What else should be added on? Nothing. And actually, we have to start talking about how we can forge ahead. Rather than Kukulala president, Kamala Chaya popular when we should talk about president twalish babonse ngamba to feel to pushing to twist stand about opposition bakwe bati nabo bakwata mano ya kwenda
Not for just to let dandaula people for president. To dandaula me queen. Takuti. If not for Kulanda Mwamba, this is all. Nothing else. But the God wanted to Kulanda anyway.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution. Emkwa yachiputuka bamwewa emkwa pwirishishe amashu yenu.
Nacharanda ti platform yenu na ituafua sana because we have started coordinating with the callers. Our frequent listeners by program. So there's a team Trevumbanaina which is led by Bamunkonge. Where we even have Avena Tandwe Ketis and others. So Trevumba Wunosana, thank you for this platform because most of the people who are on this platform, they understand fully what is at stake. So, Mwamba, you figure much to pay there. You figure much to pay that they are projecting that Kutubaya opposed in 60 constituencies. It is true. It is very true. Because me, I'm on the ground. I observed that ama structures, yes, so there was no one mobilizing at grassroots. Twasharina Shiren Tunguru Shakawati, Liver District Chairman. Ngakwaisa official Arabisha, Itisha and Ichpanvaran the factory intact. Ngam Pere Mpianga and 2 Pinavika Fenava pocket Anukwe. Emma just talk with it. So I'm very side by my grassroots. Kama grassroots, Yare Monatama Pamuru Valeria in a area. So Avantunga Valeria Veka, what happens? Balaba Kobantu. So what I'm trying to say is this, Mwamba. The constituencies. If we don't do anything about it from now up to nomination day, if we don't do anything about it, it is true they can achieve that. So this is where I'm because nga kwaiso wafya ichifure cha konkapo ni solution. So Mwamba dero mbatutukira ko solution. Kuri ababa ba UPND we are unopposed. Okay, let's not give them an advantage. So what should we do? Once somebody mfira panga na wakwatako na bururu ma constituencies mu ba ishiba. Bashite nani kane? Bashite ba ku examination council of Zambia. Bashite verify my results are grade 12. And then basend a tax clearance certificate from the ZRI. Okay? Bafure baya ready to be a candidate. Not ready that banani barashite organize aba UPND. They are enjoying the drama which is happening to our leaders on top. Okay? So let them not destabilize us on the grassroots. Let us think for our country. So if only they want to, wherever they are currently, my constituencies, nama wards, nama districts, nama councils, omo bali ngabana bakwata fe grade 12 baya ba verify ku CZ basenda tax clearance certificate ya ZRI and other requirements ya to file a nomination by pekanyefe ukushita verify ku examination council of Zambia online bale 100 kwacha ngawa bakonga office komwa bale 130 because they will be able to even print 2 copies for you information letter. So let people do that right now. Ururecha Europa Monday, watch the you fin. But send the requirements on say I am eligible to be a candidate wherever they are. Nanuku council Nanukuma council Bakashota Fueto Sangwako, Bafuya Pavempendo, Bashota Nokshota. That's the only way we are going to counter our UPND. Otherwise, na tuarekera chama structures pamuru ma ideas pamuru pare na mona pari tension pamuru pare. So that tension by UPND right enjoy because we have no time to organize our structures. So for me, that should be the solution so that we don't give any little chance kuri abakabwarara kwa chama candidates baba bayano opposed won't have it for the maka and it will require that no shower any politician nation as long as I got the top certificate now mono kumana tifire chama UPND tafiri bwino now mono kumana takainde na firwa now mono kumana takainde tufire to amwe minika Zambian kuishi zaidi mailo which they verify ama documents yenu you will be a candidate in these forthcoming elections. Otherwise, ngatuarekera fatama political parties that they are organized by UPND, Bali Tova. If you have bali for Bali Tova. It's difficult to mobilize now because I'm into English to quit. She had meeting for a long time. She support the opposition. So now, background. Ngani kuri Vincent no mbero tulemenda no kumenda no mbero pinchambiro kwenda kupano. Otherwise the party was dead. So Mwamba, that's what I can submit to my fellow Zambians, those that are in Zambia and those that are abroad, to say 10 to me aburushes kuri konse ko banga bakwati balembeshi babite verify ama results ya bala candidate. Bonse turea mkui mina parizo party. Turai mina parizo party. Mwefe turai mina parizo party. That's all. Political party of Yoko mina. Aba kaita qualify yoku chita filing na nomination. Eba kama candidate yes parizo party. And then chimbiwa Mwamba chako kutirati info about Telesphore. You know, we've lost a very big voice for this country. But Telesphore spoke for the common Zambian, a poor Zambian. So, even before his death, the way he had observed the manner in which the President Hakainde Hichilema has responds to advice, it's quite not easy, especially for a man of his stature to describe a president like that, because it means that it is to the extreme. So, Mpundu, we've lost a very big voice for Zambia. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you,
otherwise,
thank you.
Thank
you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Entam kwa ishukuru balishani.
Wena, nevo mwera ko hapo ndeo.
Vanela ndeni po.
Mwamba chabula ndasa na pampa umetwala se ba Telesphore Mpundu aba. Bali tuandira ko sana no kutoa form 25 sana. Ero kabiri wa Katolika, fero kutala wa Katolika. Bali tuafa sana ngafwe abantu pamfe no buteko ngamulebusha ila nshitatoa kwetenko ngoye sanisha shira bafyashi besu bakaunda na ba MMD. Ba kati no medato mazombwe na ma bishops bana umfyalo fya tushinguru kefi eba kosere pokora turandira kufyalo kutoa kwetenko ngone mpaka bachita cancel. Sibipa fecha kwa bati yonse ngabamya fo ifine abayisa ubuteko bayisa mukubanyanta pamutofuta abantu abale bafuirisha. Abona chibipa sana tunetirisha. Kufuma kuja shida yaba Telesphore Mpundu wa Mwamba wesu. Ifina fyo yanda ba mukongere fya yanda ba mwewa. Ngamulebisha pa Friday na isa yanda pokwe bati unity yena twayimona kuntungusha Yesu ababa lipamulu hapa. No mpaka tuombe shina ifuevo mumaruro areas mupanto abanensi kwena naba chitafyonse filefo ayiko. Nalisa rumbura pa mapu provinces, Eastern Province na Lopra Province. Ku Eastern Province ba Mwamba bonza ma councillors ba UPND bali ya ku ECZ bachita verify ama particulars yabo baba chitana guide na fafilo kuchita kuya certify ama get of certificates ukuya ku ZRA ukuya checking anga chakabati ayama tipping number yawe ya bomba nefya msongo fyonse fika bena baba na ma councillors yonsa ya UPND bali chitefe ku Eastern Province from chipata katete petauke sinda bali pusha bena fiance then ukisa akura province na kwamba kwa kukavuta kwa kwamba ukisa kuna kuma chilenge bali pusha ndenda ukasana nali pusha no kumone for in fact bamwa elo bali bashupa ngabaya kuisize no na kusharezi baya kuisize no kashin certify ma amaliza usakre 12 no go to ZRA mumone fema pin number yenu ifino kumanga murastari miti indara maku kuzidara bena fianse febali kushaso apa lero lera fino manga yasa isuka yepiro jako bati na bena bashitifa amana nominations ku ECZ chani nisho bana comfortable so if ne bali ndaba nenso aba mukongera bamwe aba bantu bese bena bapose kwa mano mishika ama councillors beso ama leaders beso bapose kwa mano kusensitize abama councillors abama places aya shara bantu abene ebakatwa no kusta campaign mu rural areas na pusha ba Mwamba weso.
Thank you, Wani. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll be taking the last calls. At least we've let you breathe. We're remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. And before we close, you can call. We hear from you. We're remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu. And we're discussing the perils of the electoral process where they've put in tricks to attempt to bar very, very strong candidates. So call, we hear from you. I'll be closing. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, I'm Chris from Zambia, Mr. Mwamba. Good evening.
Good evening, my dear brother.
Yes, I actually called. Thanks for calling back. In the first place, I want to give my condolences to the late Mr. Telesphore Mpundu, whose voice has been there and checks and balances to trace back to as far back to the time of the MMD. On the side of the MP, political-wise, they are featuring one MP. They will feature one MP per constituency. So, my suggestion is, my program, look at the request list of all the 220 constituencies. Go for which MPs they are going to adopt, and those are going to support. Since they said they will support one MP per constituency. So my there is yes, what the list of the MPs. So I took a clarification which MPs are going to be adopted in these constituencies.
Thank you very much. We'll be closing. If you have any thoughts, today we're remembering Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, and we're remembering his dedicated life to our country, but we continue to discuss the electoral process, the perils that have been set in this electoral process.
And they are using every opportunity. They're like that football team, not the one that Jack Mingu talked about, but the primary school football team, where all the players go to one corner where the ball is, and when it goes the other corner, they all go there. That is what the opposition now is in Zambia.
Ati aba bagahanyandi ne ba president baba mbuli bana iba umabora ya plastic na ya mukona omuya bonse bagurundana.
And unfortunately, they are using some sacred organizations to promote their case sometimes.
You know, jabi habi yoguti, batariga guti, amui.
Continue, sir. How is it a case that when somebody is summoned to police becomes a big issue in this country? How is it a matter? I myself, as cabinet minister, and my colleague, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Stumeko Musogotwa, somebody accused us of something, and the police got involved. We gave statements. Some of us, like himself, myself, and another person, 3-year bank statements to show that what the other person was saying was not true. Did we call cadres? Or are we not capable of calling all of you to accompany us to police stations to give statements? Are we not capable? Or as cabinet ministers, we're not senior enough? So where is this nonsense? We are to be called to explain your case. You want to turn it into something very, very big. That is not how they
go there on the mercy of HH. He does not listen to people. One of the leaders in the UPND came and challenged me. And he said, you know, you are writing, you are speaking, and whatever. Why don't you call him?
Yes.
Call him, and you can tell him what you want to tell him, instead of the papers there and so on and so forth. To begin with, your man does not listen to anybody. I would be very, very surprised if he listens to you. He is a one-man dictator. Some of the dictators at least are in a group. He listens to nobody. When we went to State House, after so many times of trying, we arrived there, and then we were treated to a lecture. It was a lecture. Coming out, someone asked me, how did the meeting go? Very nice.
So you are invited to a meeting you've been pushing because you've seen so many wrong things, and you've had an opportunity now to see the president and then deliver your views and probably hold a dialogue. Instead, it became a lecture.
It was a lecture. He had all kinds of people that he sent to monitor what was going to be said. And then when we went there, everything was being said and the answers were being given without our participation. That is it. That man does not listen. Recently again, another young man came. But you see, why don't you call him? I'm not going to call him to lecture me. Yeah. No, not at all. I want someone who is open to the Republic of Zambia and people who would like to participate in the route.
How if it is as you are aware, Zinanga Thomas Sparrow, aka Common President, and for Chikuru, Jamaica, Midirapo, and Kambirako and Tomakombo, and the Maputo Manini. Mungamanimoni, a Kambi, Makombo, Timanaka, we don't have a campaign. But if I win, I get a pass. Apa panikamba, ndipo mulinjala makombo no sati masobe. Ndipo ifetikatanda ula takamba kuti kombo ni mulinjala. Kuda tinkala politiko anizona ndiye vichitika. So what I'm appealing kuboma ni kwa kuti bakali koni nzeru. Yeah. Narukamba yayi unkozakala 50. Ngepa nwendera ko kumwamba ukozi. Tieni tifake ko nzeru so that vija vamene mwende kukamba liso vinhaliko hapo. Manjapa baendera tu opposite yekaeka. So please, makombo ninjala eve ilimu. Tieni tifake ko nzeru bizungu veze vambili ntama kampeni wanambera wana. Unambera kuino nao bantu manje nitama kuti nao mbeleko kuino. Ifa mkombo ninjala ya nyanya. Daso mpeza pali ponsa anyamata kwambukala majangi. Batimenya dei. Kamba kaurova na njala. So please, fakani ko ninze uboma bantu mkombo nifetifuna kudia. Mundu akuti akwanise kula unga. Tumasala alipeza mundu kula jabe kasanga kamozi kaunga. Na ndiyo jabe masoya pieces ndalama ya si. Genti fakeko nzeru makomboni. Whatever we promise the people, let's do it. Bandu wakale na wamanje tisiana. Bandu wa Zambia manje wachenje. Ndipo one thing you need to understand as politicians, when you are promising the people, nowadays there's social media. Whatever you are saying shall be used against you. Yeah. So when you are promising, you think you are clever. But Facebook isunga, wazambo vitenga wavifaka hapa manje wamba ukalipo. Opeza tatenga wameana rukamba mutefaka pa social media. Muti tituwani. Maweli yake. Kutajape. Onani, olopa nyumba ukauza wana. Wana wanga, ine manje apashita na pesa mzamba kudia nkuku 1 to 30. Bada ba ondwe ndia mene kungo chinja na mkono. Bafunseko, nanga nkhuku amene mnali kukamba ili kuti no ndimopusa nishi ndimwe vana vachite chamene tifuna ndikunkhala bwino ma politicians naife ovota naife tizipezako bwino osati vindu vizinkhala chape one side vati ine vokamba vambiri ndilipe nita represent vantu va mkomboni njala pamala padoka patikumbukeko tikamba kutifuna tizidya pamahala nakale olokefe kali mpawa tinali kusakira koma pazavutirato olokosakira kulibe so please njala sikuti tikalira njala nchitankhala politiko njala ilibe politics so tenifakeko nzeru pamene munali kupromisa vichitike noti tikakambako mambotiyo fya mzalofya kangati nako yopa tinaleka akuti njala ndiye chira na prison kwanisanito kunkhala panja suli kuchere pati njala ikuchita dei kuvikonga nifakaili wakuli alakumanjira muzeru kaili sikuchitika nakaili ali mujere kasako free medical free bakudya free accommodation ifetunika vonse tungo tosandalala apakeko